Right now, there are thousands of people sitting on the sidelines who have lost money in Goliath Ventures Inc. And most of them don't realise the clock is ticking. Because it isn't just another update, it's a turning point. The court has officially issued Chapter 9 bankruptcy notice. And for the first time, victims are being told exactly what they need to do. And if they want any chance of getting their money back, here is the reality. If you do nothing, if you sit back, stay quiet, or assume someone else is handling it, you could miss out completely. There is now a hard deadline. There is now a formal process, and there is now a decision every single victim needs to make. You either step forward and file proof of claim before May the 26th, or you risk being left out of the system entirely. And I know what a lot of people are thinking because I'm psychic, or I've seen it before, or I've got a lot of people that are helping me with information that are trying to help you. They don't want their name out there. That is the biggest obstacle I've been fighting since the 1st of September 2025. I want to help you. I want to get my money back, but I want to remain anonymous. This is for you, this video, and you need to listen up. And I'm trying to help you. They don't want their name out there. They don't want to be associated with this publicly. They're hoping maybe it'll get sorted without having to step forward. But unfortunately, folks, that's not how it works. You can't, I'd rather like to say what I'm thinking rather than what's in front of me, and you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's what I'd like to say. You can't recover money from a system you refuse to participate in. In this live, I'm going to walk you through exactly what this bankruptcy means, what the deadlines are, and what options look like. And most importantly, what you need to do next. Because this isn't the end of the story. This is where the real process begins. And if you want to be part of it, unfortunately, you'll need to act. Now, that was my written introduction. Now I want to give you some good stuff. First thing I'm going to do is show you a video that I haven't published yet. And this is the description for it. And I'm going to read some of it just before we get started into the blog, which is going to help you because I want you to realize what's going on behind the schemes. I woke up this morning at 8:30 and I was interviewed by a major newspaper for an hour. And their slant on the story wasn't one that I'd be going for. But they said they only want to cover one little piece of the pie. So I sat there for an hour and gave them one hell of a interview. And they said, don't be upset if we only use this little bit of the pie in your interview. No one really wants the real story. No one really wants to know what these partners are up to. But listen to this.
Mike Chmielewski's victim claim exposed Goliath internal database leaks. What you're about to see was never meant to leave the inner circle. These videos, shared anonymously by individuals still inside the fallout of Goliath Ventures Incorporated, reveal something far more structured than a group of innocent investors. They show a coordinated database, names, balances, movements, all sitting under one individual, Mike Chmielewski, and yet, publicly, he's positioning himself as just another victim.
So this is a partner. Now, I'll tell you something you don't know. I gave these videos to the head investigators, and they rang up and told me off. They told me they couldn't take these videos because it could be used in discovery. That's how good these videos are. So I've decided to put these videos public. And as we speak, an editor is putting them together so you can actually see the database. All the people's phone numbers will be blurred, but people's names, their companies, and who they actually have got on their database is all going to be exposed. Let me prove it to you. So in the next screen, these are videos, which are the real videos. And if you click the databases of everybody that's invested, at least under Mike, these are people's phone numbers, their names. These are all going to be put on live in the next, well, after I finish my thing. But you can go through these videos and you can see your own name. You can see your phone number. You can see your home address if you want. Everything in these videos is going to be made public. Why would I do that? Because we have got a database of 233 people that we have been investigating one at a time. We go through, we find out who you are, we find out where you live, we find out how much money you've invested, we try and get your contract of Goliath Ventures, and we try to protect you as a person of interest. Either you're one of the bottom feeders that have been promoting this as a partner, or you're an innocent bystander who's got caught up in a too good to be true Ponzi scheme. You might be too scared to come forward, but I can promise you one thing. I will put your name in the public arena. You are not going to escape investing with Goliath Ventures. Not because we want to come after everybody who's done that, because we want to help individuals. We want the investigative team to know every single individual who's invested in Goliath Ventures. These videos that you're looking at here is basically the database of Goliath Ventures. People's names, phone numbers, how much they invested are all going to be put publicly after this video. So you can't hide, you can run. But so what I'm trying to insinuate here, there will be one hell of a good description in that video. It will be published as a short, but I guarantee you that's what you want to do. Alrighty, so let's get on with our blog and let's give you some help. What I'm trying to say is you don't really want to worry about your name if that's what's holding you back. Everybody we talk to, we say, hey, would you want to go on camera and do an interview with the paper? And they go, oh, no, I want to remain anonymous. And I'm all for that, and I'll protect you as much as I can. But my point is that you need to do something now, well, soon. And there's a couple of opportunities that you've got. And just to run you through, basically they put a deadline, the 26th of May, I think it is, that you need to submit yourself. You need to file a proof of claim. Now, there is a meeting that's going to happen on the 26th of April, on the 22nd of April, where you can listen in, you can phone in, and as a victim, anybody can listen to that meeting so they get an idea. Now, you can file your claim anytime, as long as you get it in before May the 26th. So you're going to have a month to think whether I want to be part of the party or not. You don't have to do it today, but you will have to do it. So let's get started, and let's see if we can get this going in a way you can see it. Right. So what have we got here? Make sure everything's all good up there. All right. Looks like we've got comments coming in real time. Right. When the dust settles, a Ponzi scheme is the real battle is proving fraud. It is proving following the money. How about that? Let's see if I can get this working right for all of us today. Looks like it doesn't want to fit in the screen. There we go. Looks like we've got it there now. So we've got a lovely picture here of a lady with my arm around her, trying to encourage her to actually put her name out there and be brave and admit to the world potentially that she's invested and she was caught up in a Ponzi scheme with 2,000 other people. G'day, Crypto G. Nice to see you here, and also all the other people in the chat room. Feel free to comment. I'll answer questions. I won't try to get too much of a rant going today. So this is the official notice that you've all been waiting for. The courts have now issued an official notice of Chapter 9 bankruptcy. We did a blog yesterday all about that, so you can go back and read that if you'd like to, for Goliath Ventures. And this is the document that turns the bankruptcy from a headline into something real, urgent, and actionable for victims. The notice confirms that the case is being handled together with the related Goliath case, meaning the process is now formally underway and the investors need to pay attention to the deadline in it. So you can download our help form. Now, I might just shrink this down a little bit because it's getting a bit ridiculous trying to do it that big. But the Avengers, this is not a public. One of my dear Avengers was worked hard and put together a breakdown of the new document, the official notice of Chapter 11 bankruptcy case issued on March 17th. So we've got that issued within the blog, and we've also got this downloadable breakdown of the new document. And this is a step by what it actually means, the key dates that you need to know, where do victims file their proof of claim? 2 ways, free to file, it doesn't cost you anything, you don't need a lawyer. You can do it electronically or you can post it in. Who should victims call? You can talk to the receiver directly if you like. You can go to the bankruptcy clerk office and ring them up. US trustee officers. So we've put it all together in a downloadable form that you can download, and then the bottom line. Now, I don't know if I can read this. I'm actually going to read this whole lot just because we can, and then I'm going to put the link in the description of the video that we're watching live, and then that will help. I'm just going to read it all in one go.
Breakdown of the new document official notice of Chapter 11 bankruptcy case, issued March 17, 2026. This is the official court notice that the bankruptcy court mailed, or will mail, to known creditors and investors. It's the formal heads-up document that turns the Chapter 11 filing into something real and actionable for victims. It's jointly administered with the other Goliath case, 26-13176, so everything is handled together. What does that actually mean? The automatic stay is now officially in force. No one can sue Goliath Ventures Incorporated, collect money from it, or take any collection action against the company itself. All claims against Goliath must now go through this bankruptcy process. This is the starting gun for victims. The court is now officially telling every investor, here are the deadlines, get your paperwork in or you risk getting nothing. It's protective for the estate. The receiver, Michael S. Budwick, can now focus on gathering assets, investigating, and preparing a plan without a bunch of separate lawsuits clogging everything up. It does not stop claims against anyone else. You can still go after Delgado personally, JP Morgan, Alston & Bird, JV partners, promoters, etc. Those are completely outside this bankruptcy. Key dates you need to know: creditors meeting, 341 meeting, April 22, 2026 at 12 p.m. Eastern, held by telephone only. Call in 888-330-1716. Participant code 3,205,723. You don't have to attend, but it's a good chance to hear the receiver and U.S. trustee speak under oath. Proof of claim deadline, May 26, 2026. For regular creditors like investors, governmental units get until September 14, 2026. Deadline to object to discharge, June 22, 2026. If you want to argue a specific debt shouldn't be wiped out, where do victims file their proof of claim? 2 ways, both free to file. 1, 2. Electronically. Easiest. Go to www.flsb.uscourts.gov and use the court's electronic claims filing system. Mail or deliver in person to the clerk's office, U.S. Bankruptcy Court, 301 North Miami Avenue, Room 150, Miami, Florida 33128. You can download the official proof of claim form right on the court website. Who should victims call? Receiver's Office, Mel and Budwick, PA, Solomon B. Jeanette 305-358. 6363 or janet@milanbidwick.com. This is the team actually running the case and managing assets. Bankruptcy Clerk's Office. For procedural questions only 305-714-1800. They can't give legal advice. U.S. Trustee's Office. For the creditors meeting questions, they're listed as the trustee. Should victims consult an attorney, or is this the only route right now? This bankruptcy filing is the required route for any claim against Goliath Ventures itself. You have to file a proof of claim by May 26th, or you could be shut out of any recovery from the company's assets. However, it is not your only route overall. You should still strongly consider speaking with your own attorney, or the class action firms, right now, because the proof of claim process can get tricky within liquidated fraud claims. You need to preserve your rights against Delgado personally, the partners, the banks, law firms, accountants, etc. Those claims are not affected. Many victims are using the class action lawyers, Gibbs Murrah/Schwartzborn PA, Shaw, Lewens, Silver Law Group, Sun Law Group / and others, to handle both the bankruptcy claim and the separate lawsuits against enablers. Bottom line, file the proof of claim by May 26th to protect your spot in the bankruptcy pot, but don't stop there. The real leverage for most investors is still the separate actions against the partners, co-conspirators and business enablers, banks, law firms, accountants, etc.
Yeah, so I'm just looking for my beautiful picture I have of all these guys lined up that I can put on the screen. But, don't think you can't go after the partners. But if you think you're owed money from Goliath Ventures in any which way or form, then you need to be in to be able to claim money. So that's the picture I'm looking for. So these are the people that I believe are co-conspirators. As I just showed you, we've got Mike, this guy here, young guy who's now moved to Dubai. Everything's perfectly normal. He hasn't done anything wrong, but he's just decided it's a good idea to go to Dubai and live in Dubai from now on. And he's claiming he's a victim. And we're about to launch a video which will show you his database. This guy's not a victim. He's a predator. He come after people. He stole their money. Punit Shaw. Is it Punit Shaw? 500 people he's got under his belt. 500 people. He's the proud owner of the 7% Club. Some people were getting paid 7% per month under his club, called the 7% Club. All these individuals are guilty. Nick Petrillo, trying to get $40 million out of Goliath Ventures. I'm pretty sure he's motioned to dismiss his lawsuit now, put on by Jonathan Shaw. Jonathan Shaw was stating that poor Nick here was entitled to $40 million of reward money that he was not paid by Christopher. He had 900 clients under his belt. Punit Shaw had 500. And Mike, well, we're going to show you how many clients he had under his belt. But these guys are still easy targets. Tomo, he's in the database. David, Stephen, Alex, all driving Lamborghinis and Ferraris and Rolls Royces, buying beautiful house, except for Steve Davis. Well, he's on the way to Germany now. He's got himself a citizenship. He's packing up. Don't forget, we've even found out that Christopher's wife has been promoting Goliath Ventures to victims. We've got screenshots where she's enticing people to sign up for Goliath Ventures. Apparently, she was getting paid $20,000 a month just as a, here you go, my ex-wife, look after my kids. And now she's on a first-class cruise, traveling to Cayman Islands, I believe. Let's carry on. So what I'm getting at, go to my blog and you can click on the official bankruptcy notice step-by-step guide and you can read all about that. This is the point where people need to stop guessing and start getting organized, because the courts are now effectively saying if you believe Goliath Ventures owes you money, there is a deadline to get your paperwork in. And if you miss it, you could miss out on the recovery from the company's assets. Now, probably ain't much money there. as we said, but you want to be in, you got to be in to win, as they say. And there might be some sort of assets there. Who knows where all the money is? Remember, Chris has claimed he's got 18 Rolex watches. We've heard he's got 50 to 100 Rolex watches. We know he's got two, I don't even know, Lamborghini Hurricanes in Dubai with $850,000 each, I got told. Don't know whether it's true or not. There's 12 cars. There is money there. So if you don't put your name in, then it's got to make all the other people that have put the name in get a bigger percentage of the money. I assume that's how it works. And good thing about those assets, because he had a fantastic accountant, Harry M. Samuels, Harry M. Samuels told Christopher that he should buy assets in the company money, which might work out in your favor. What this notice actually means, the bankruptcy filing has triggered the automatic stay, which means creditors generally cannot sue Goliath Ventures or collect from it. Response, respond?
Repossess property.
Repossess property or otherwise cause the company directly, chase the company directly while the stay is in effect. All claims against Goliath Ventures Inc. itself now have to go through the bankruptcy process. It's not a bad thing, as we mentioned in yesterday's video. It's a good thing, but it basically stops the chaos. This is not a red flag. It is the system now forcing everything into one place so that the recoverer can focus on gathering assets, tracing money, investigating what's happened, and preparing an orderly process of recovery. Just as important, the bankruptcy does not stop claims against anyone else, as I've just mentioned. The notice only protects the debtor's companies.
Debtor company.
It does not shield Christopher Delgado, I'll get that right now, Delgado. Personally, it does not prevent separate actions against banks, law firms, promoters, partners, accountants, and other enablers. That wider fight remains alive. The most important date, proof of claim deadline. For regular creditors, including investors, the deadline to file a proof of claim is the 26th of May. And I've stuck a big button here, which you can click on it. It will take you off to the United States Bankruptcy Court, proof of claim electronically. This is the easiest way for you to go through here. If you don't know how to do it, you can copy that and put it into ChatGPT, click on proof of claim, and then, this is a restricted area, and literally click on those buttons and follow the process to your heart's content. Put the case number up there, name of creditor, and file this out yourself. You don't necessarily need to hire a lawyer, and that's how that works. That is the deadline people need to understand. A proof of claim is simply a signed statement describing your claim. In plain English, it is the form where you tell the court who you are, how much you invested, and how much you lost, and what evidence supports your claim. So all those screenshots that we've been telling you to grab from September the 1st and document everything is now really important. The court notice is very clear. If your claim is not scheduled, or if it is designated as disrupted, I can't even read that. Let's just get straight into reading that for Danny Boy.
Designated as disputed, contingent, or unliquidated, you must file a proof of claim.
Right, and Susie's in the chat room and she's saying some stuff here. She's got 3 stars, not 5. That's all right. I'll get therapy. I meant, seriously, can you imagine having to collect and deal with various lawsuits against a company that you never ran? I don't quite know what you mean there, but I can assume it's talking about the receiver, and the receiver doesn't know who the hell Goliath Ventures is. And now he's got to go out there and looking for individuals that had some connection to this company, claiming they've had a loss to this company. And so he needs to know who you are, how much you invested, how much you lost, and what evidence supports your claim. So that's where your contracts are going to be paramount, aren't they? Any correspondence you've had with partners will also be very valuable. And any partner, any person that's been promoting Goliath Ventures, even like Andy, Chris's wife, ex-wife, whatever you want to call her, are going to come down like it, in a heap, aren't they, really? Because they've been promoting this quietly, taking those reward money away, going on lavish holidays, as we know she's on one right now. And all this is because they think they were entitled to promote things when they're not even regulated financial advisors, which is just crazy. The court notice is very clear. If your claim is not scheduled, I think I already read that, you might not be paid on your claim and might be unable to vote on a plan. I didn't say that right, but I think I will get it right. I'm going to do both those paragraphs.
Or you might not be paid on your claim and might be unable to vote on a plan. That is why this matters so much.
Yeah, I'm just going to explain something about dyslexia now. When I read stuff, people go, oh, why don't you practice it more before you get on your YouTube lives? Because I think if you practiced it, you'd be more fluent reader. It doesn't make any difference with me whatsoever. What I can tell you is I can read a page in a book, and then I can go back to the same book, read the same page, and not realize I've already read it. When I listen to the words, like when I highlight the words and have them read to me, I get the words and I understand the meaning. So it's not that I'm stupid. It's just the fact that I'm reading the words. What victims need to understand right now to me is 7 words that I have to say out loud, but the meaning of that doesn't always get absorbed by Danny's brain. So but if I read it like this, what victims need to understand right now, that goes into my head. This deadline is not a pay date, the end of the case, the end of the investigation, or only legal, or your only legal option. Now, why is that important? Well, we're still investigating it. As the head investigator said to me when Christopher decided to walk into the courtroom and hand himself in, he rang me up that day and he said, I've never seen anything go as fast as this one before. He said, but now the real work begins. The real investigation starts. We start going through, like the screenshots that I'm going to put on the internet in about an hour and a half are going to blow your brain. They've got everybody's name, everybody's amount, how much they have invested in Goliath Ventures. So if you're sitting here on the fence and you're thinking, I don't want to be in the public arena, Goliath Venture have got a privacy breach. Because they weren't a real company, I've got what I believe access to a large majority of everybody that's ever invested with Goliath Ventures. And I'm just going to put it online. And everybody who said they haven't invested, it's on their database. That's because it was amateur hour at Goliath Ventures. They weren't a real company. They didn't have any real systems or processes. They were using Salesforce, for God's sake, to manage it. Can you imagine what happens when the receivers go to Salesforce and demand subpoena Salesforce database? Those 2,000 people that we have calculated have signed up for Goliath Ventures are going to have their names everywhere. So you can run, but you can't hide. So if you're sitting on the fence thinking, I don't want my name out there, you're buggered. It's going to be out there. So you might as well be a helping bee. You might as well help me with my investigation. I don't need sleep. I can just keep doing this, right? It is the cut-off date for getting yourself formally on record in the bankruptcy. And remember, these guys don't care about you so much. It's not like we do. My Avengers do care about people. We really do have a connection with a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah. So if you've lost money and you want to be counted in the bankruptcy process, then don't ignore May the 26th. I might have said the wrong date there a few times, so just remember it's May the 26th. Key dates victims need to know. So here you go. Get your pen and paper out. Here are the main dates from the court notice and summary document. So April the 22nd, 2026, make sure you get that right. Creditors meeting. It's 341 meeting held by telephone only. So you call up on that phone number and Google, in case you're watching this, this is a publicly advertised phone number by the courts. and you'll need to have that participant code. So take a screenshot of that now. Well done. Or go and obviously find my blog on my website. May the 26th, deadline for regular creditors to file proof of claim. So if you've got a contract and it's got Goliath Ventures in it and you've put $400,000 in it, you'll need to submit that to prove that you've invested $400,000. Please don't try telling people that you are entitled to $600,000 because you won't get it. We're talking about money that you have invested. June 22nd, 2026, deadline for filing a complaint to accept a particular, I think it is, a particular debt from discharge if it applies in your situation. Don't quite know an example of something like that, but maybe you provided services like flights, don't know, and all of a sudden somebody's trying to claim back that you should hand back your money for flights. I assume that's what that's talking about.
Accept a particular debt from discharge if that applies to your situation.
I assume it could be a service fee that somebody might be trying to claim back as fraud. But if you provided a service, maybe that's what they're meaning. Not quite sure there. All right, so we've got September the 14th when it all started. That means it was a year. By the September the 14th, the Avengers and myself were well into investigating this scam 12 months and 2 weeks earlier. Because we started on the 1st of September 2025. Deadlines for governmental units to provide proof of claim. Do victims have to attend the creditors' meeting? Maybe a question you're asking. No, creditors may attend, but they are not required to do so. So you don't even have to be part of the party. You can sit there in the docks and just watch. The notice says creditors may attend the April the 22nd meeting, but attendance is optional. It may be worth listening in because it's a chance to hear what the receivers in the US and hear the receiver and US trust speak under oath about the case. You might learn some interesting facts. We might find there's a little bit of money there that may get paid back. Where do victims file the proof of claim? The summary document gives you 3 ways to file. So you can do it obviously electronically, and it tells you exactly where to do it there. I'm not going to read that, not embarrassing myself. You can go back to the old. Now, funny enough, I had a victim from another scam who donated $50,000 to a publishing company just yesterday, and he booked some time with me because he wanted some help. I said, oh, can you reach out to me on iMessage? Can you reach out to me on WhatsApp? Can you reach out to me on Signal? He said he doesn't have a cell phone. He, in fact, had a flip top cell phone. So the only way I could communicate with this individual was via email, which made me laugh. Anyway, he'd been filing his own court cases in handwriting, which is quite funny. So when I see mail or deliver to the clerk's office and there's an address, and I assume that you would put it in a handwritten letter, some people might still use that form of communication. Because last night I saw this guy's handwritten letters to the courts. They still take them. So that's where you drop them off if you're going to do it the old-fashioned style. The official proof of claim form can be obtained from the court website or any bankrupt clerk office. Do victims need a lawyer to file? Now, even though I was talking to this reporter this morning and they were saying, how did you feel when Goliath Ventures was trying to sue you? And I said, well, it was because I previously have had people trying to sue me in the past. I was quite familiar to a certain extent how the system works, and you don't always need a lawyer, which is always quite good. So it's, in this case, you don't need a lawyer to file a claim. You just need to put a peg in the ground, so to speak, and you can do that yourself just by filling out the online forms. Now, I'm dyslexic, as I said, and I get stuck on online forms. I hate them. Now, I've just filed a lawsuit myself in the Christchurch courts where I live, and I literally copied the PDFs and chucked them into ChatGPT and told them what the case was about, told them the whole situation into ChatGPT, and it told me how to complete the forms. And there were some parts in there that I thought I may have had to keep, and it helped me tell me what sections I could remove and leave in, and it gave me total peace of mind. Use the technology available, ladies and gentlemen. But these online forms aren't as complicated as some of the stuff I've been doing myself these days. Now, somebody who left school at the age of 14, can't read and write, using technology to help complete forms is a godsend for me. For many people, filing a proof of claim is something they can just do themselves. But the notice also warns that the bankruptcy clerk staff cannot give you legal advice. So bringing up and asking for legal advice isn't going to work, but ChatGPT is pretty good these days. And the summary document makes a fair point. Fraudulent related claims can become quickly, what's that word? Especially where claims become tricky, especially when claims are unliquidated. Is that right?
Unliquidated.
Or tried to border lawsuits. That whole bit there to me didn't go into my head, so maybe not yours either. So let's listen to it.
And the summary document makes a fair point. Fraud-related claims can become tricky, especially where claims are unliquidated or tied to broader lawsuits.
Yeah, so it is a bit of chaos out there at the moment, but this isn't rocket science, this one, guys. You can handle this. So the particular answer is no, you don't. You do not automatically need a lawyer to file proof of claim. And yes, it may still be smart to speak to somebody, especially if your losses are large, your facts are unusual, or you want to preserve your rights against the other parties before Goliath itself. So everyone's basically, if you can decipher that paragraph there, what we are saying is everyone's situation is completely different. We had one individual that we knew that was getting paid out dividends and then reinvesting those dividends every month. And he was doing that since 2023. So that got a bit tricky because every time he reinvested the dividends back into Goliath, it basically, started up another tax event. But everyone's different. So look, if you can afford to get a lawyer, I would recommend going and finding. We've got some lawsuits that we've seen. People are asking us for advice on what lawyers to use. Feel free to come to us, and we'll try to give you what we believe is a good lawyer. People that are not suing the partners are not good lawyers. They are friends of these individuals, I believe, and not doing the right thing. Now, I have a button on my keyboard, and I don't think it's going to work, but I've got to give it to you anyway because it's what I do. But I do have a noise of an elephant. One thing I did learn from my mother, and she said that no one's talking about the elephant in the room. And and I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. Oh, actually, I think I actually have it somewhere. I do. You should be able to hear this. The elephant in the room. Now that was clear because I had another button there I forgot. So the elephant in the room.
Anonymity.
That is not a word for a dyslexic person. Anonymity versus getting your money back. So I'm just going to say it the way I want to say it. So you want to have your cake and eat it too. I understand that. I'm not saying that your name will be in the public arena if you do fill out these forms. I don't know, to be honest. I asked around quite a bit, and somebody said there's a possibility that their name could be in the public arena, but there's no guarantee. So, but I do know that you have to make a decision whether you file or not. So there's something, but we didn't want to let you file and then find out your name was broadcasted in some court documents, and then all of a sudden everyone knows that you're invested in Goliath. So it all depends whether you want to die of shame or have a possibility of getting your money back. So let's talk about what a lot of people are thinking but not saying out loud: privacy. I'm about to put everyone's details on the internet. It's not illegal, by the way. It's illegal I put your phone number with it, so we've blurred out your phone numbers. But in a few minutes, people will be able to see hundreds of people that have invested, especially under Mike, whatever his name is. So soon people will be able to go through those videos, and see their name in the public arena who have invested. So privacy has already been breached. That's my point. A lot of victims don't want their names tied to this publicly, and that's completely understandable. But here's the reality. Hello? When you file proof of claim in a US bankruptcy case, your details, including your name and your claim amount, typically become part of the public record. That means your involvement may eventually be visible through the court system like PACER. You have to pay $50 a month for PASA, which is quite expensive, but quite handy. If anyone wants to donate me $50 a month, I would probably have PASA, and we encourage people to watch it regularly. But we have got other vendors who have kindly got themselves on PASA and paying that $50 a month to get access to those fees, and are giving them to me, and I'm putting them within my blogs. Okay, like PASA or other parties in the case, there are limited exemptions in rare situations, and some people use lawyers or entities to add a layer of separation. So you might have a company listed instead of your name, but me Avengers are very good at finding out who's behind these companies, because we have ways and methods. But true autonomy is very difficult. So you need to make the decision. Do you want to stay private, or do you want to be in the process to recover money? Now, there is money there. We know there's assets. We know that he did have a $700,000 mortgage on one of the properties. Because if you don't file, you're not in the system. And if you're not in the system, you're not getting paid if funds are recovered. So who should victims contact? The summary document lists 3 key contacts. So the receiver. Now, I've got a meeting with the receiver, hopefully on the 25th of this month. We were going to have one 2 days ago, but they couldn't get Zoom going for some reason. But there's a phone number and there's an email address. I'm going to whiz past these phone numbers because Google doesn't always like phone numbers. For prudential questions only. Oh, God, let's put them back.
Procedural questions only.
Not legal advice. So people want to know how to, if you get stuck on a form and you don't know what that question means, put it into ChatGPT or ring up those phone numbers and ask them to help you. If victims also want legal advice about class actions or claims against third parties, they should consider contacting their own attorney or the law firms already involved in the parallel litigation, as noted in the summary document. So the summary document is actually in here somewhere. I can't find it for looking properly, but if I go through here, you will find proof of claim. Did I not put that in there? No. Maybe I didn't put it in there and I should have done. Maybe, yeah. So I'll edit this blog and I will put a link of the contract that I'm talking about. I must have forgotten. Sorry about that. What else do we got? So if victims also want legal advice, summary document. Is bankruptcy the only route? No. This is the required route for making claims against Goliath Ventures itself. So, okay, so remember, the only party that's going bankrupt here, they're trying to figure out exactly what assets are owed, is Goliath Ventures. Everything else is still on the table. But it is not the only route overall. The summary document is very clear that victims should still consider protecting their rights against Christopher himself, Christopher Delgado, personally, partners. Now, partners is 27 co-conspirators. Remember, we've got them all here. Boom, there they are. Tomo, look at that. These guys here are all co-conspirators. These are people that there's probably more of them, but this is just the main people that we know that we've seen actively promoting Goliath Ventures. So they're called partners. We've got banks, law firms, accountants, and other enablers. Those claims are not wiped out by the bankruptcy. So you'll always be able to do that unless something else opens, and we'll keep you up to date. This is the bigger picture here. The bankruptcy is the doorway to whatever remains in the company estate. So all those assets and those watches that he's bought with company money, they are adding up to something decent. But for many victims, the real leverage may still sit inside the company with the people and the institution that help the scheme operate. Christopher did not do this all by himself. He had a corporate structure, and these partners were all set up with their own separate LLC companies. So these are still on the table. What victims should do right now. If you believe you've lost money through Goliath Ventures, this is your immediate action plan. Gather your wire confirmations, account statements, emails, screenshot, and any other contacts. I don't want them, by the way. We've already had our share. Work out exactly how much you've invested and how much you lost. So if you've got some dividends back, you put $100,000 in, you've got your $3,000, and you decided that you would just take out your $3,000 a month on 3%, then, and you've been paying your mortgage because you've chucked your $100,000 on your mortgage, and you've been using your dividends to pay the extra mortgage. Some people have been doing that. Then work out exactly how much money you've been paid in dividends and how much you've lost. I don't think you'll be able to claim the interest if you borrowed the $100,000 from somewhere else. Just saying. Anyway, prepare your file, your proof of claim before the 26th of May. I think you've got that in your head now. Keep a record of who introduced you and what you were told. Now, I can't sit here and tell you to drink a glass of water knowing that it's got cyanide in it, and if you drink it and you drop dead, and then go back to you and say, oh, sorry, I didn't tell you it had cyanide in it. So what were you told? You were told that this was insured by a third party. So who told you that? Who gave you the peace of mind to invest in Goliath Ventures? Was it these guys in these videos that I'm about to release? Consider whether you need legal advice for claims outside the bankruptcy. So the individual that got you into it, was it Jonathan? I always get his name right. Mason. Jonathan Mason. Was he the person that got you into it? Was it Nick Petrillo? Now, I believe Nick Petrillo will be charged criminally any time in the next week or two. I believe there will be another charge coming out in the very soon. And Nick is already enjoying summer, is it summer holiday, summer camp, whatever you call it, spring break with his 70-year-old father. So he just took his 70-year-old father on a joyride in a Learjet, and now claiming victim not getting paid $40 million from Christopher, and even used Jordan Shaw to put in a claim because he was hard done by. This guy's driving around in a Rolls Royce, I think he is, in a nice house worth $8.5 million, got himself a mistress that he's had for 3 years, and even got the wife pregnant for the third time, and she must be about dropping the baby about now. Yeah. He's not a nice guy. He's not a victim. He's a predator, and he knew exactly what he was doing. And I'll tell you some other information that I've not put in the public arena. There is talk that Christopher is claiming that Nick Petrillo is the mastermind behind Goliath Ventures, and I have reasons to believe that is true. So even Christopher, who's been submitting information via my website, not that that's from that source, but I just thought I'd know what you're doing, Christopher. We believe that Nick Petrillo is the instigator of what went down with Goliath Ventures. They were partners in crime. So I believe there will be another conviction, and there'll be another probably ankle bracelet handled out in the next couple of weeks, if not within the next week. Remember, you hear it here first. I'm the one that's talking to all these big people, and we're still investigating this. This is the decision point. This is it. The court has filed a start gun, and the clock is now running. That's the clicking talk. This is no longer speculation or something to watch from a distance. This is a live legal process with real deadlines. And if you do nothing, you'll risk being left out entirely. If you've lost money, you now have a clear choice. Stay silent. Crickets. Hello, everybody. Shh, don't tell anyone I invested. I'm embarrassed. Don't tell anyone because I borrowed the money from someone I shouldn't have. I don't want my wife to know. I don't want my husband to know. I don't want my company directors to know I borrowed money from the company. We get it. Well, you're going to walk away from that money if you don't do anything, can't you? We don't want that to happen. Protect your privacy and hope something works out. Now that sounds like you're at the casino and you've got one last chip to play. Are you going to risk everything on missing that deadline? Or step forward. File your claim before the 26th of May. Notice I said 26th of May, not May the 26th, because in New Zealand, we do dates different. And put yourself in the system where recovery actually happens, because no one is going to do it for you. No court, no receiver, not anyone else. And if you're not in the system, you're not getting paid. The bankruptcy is where the remaining assets are fought over. Everything else, the banks, the partners, the enablers, that's where the bigger fight is still unfolding. But it starts here. The only thing necessary for triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. And that's, what's his name?
Edmund Burke.
Edmund Burke, good mate of mine. Silence protects the wrong people. Action protects your future. So I often have a disclaimer at the bottom here, but that's just saying that we do a lot of open source investigations. If you don't know who I am, some people, I'm being challenged at the moment by a lawyer who says I'm not a real journalist. And I said, well, I've been in a Bloomberg documentary. I've been in a 2-page spread in the New York Times. I've helped the Guardian newspaper put 14 articles out about a $1.9 billion scam, and they published me eventually in the 14th article, which is really nice. Australian newspapers say that I'm Australasia's biggest scam fighter. Radio New Zealand, which is a local talkback radio, has had me on there a couple of times. The Otago Daily newspaper has been there. So I must be somebody in this game. So I'm somebody that you want to keep in this game. So in saying that, my personal plug is I need money to survive, guys. And I need you to support me. So I have 2 ways that you can do that. You can click on the yellow button on the bottom of my website, and it says support me, and it pops up, and you can give money anonymously. $5 is a really nice donation. Thank you very much. Or on the other side over here, I've got this buy me a cup of coffee thing, and it's just 2 different ways. And Ron donated $5 yesterday, and he spoke to me for about half an hour, and he also paid $50 to have a appointment with me where he could talk to me. So if you do want to talk to me, that's really nice. I do try to collect a little bit of money for that. So you can click on appointments on my website, and on appointments, you can come here and you can do an express chat. Express chat means you'll get me one-on-one. Now, I'm not going to broadcast what we talk about. It's private. But I do have what I call a koha opportunity, where koha's a way of supporting what I do. Doesn't mean you own me for 20 minutes, but you can literally come along here and, you can basically throw $50 at me, and you can just put 50 in there like that and go tip, and then you can talk to me, and it doesn't exhaust my brain. It's very, very, very difficult sometimes to be in the right mindset to keep doing this job, because I get all the sad stories. So let's just have a look through the chat room. No one's really posted any questions today, and that's okay. We are broadcasting at the moment on, let's have a look, on X, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. And that means that my content's got a big footprint. And we kind of want to help people. So we're here to help you guys. I can't express that enough. I can't imagine what it's like losing my life savings. I do know what it's like not having any savings, but I don't know what it's like having them and then lost them. Maybe that's a good thing. Yeah, but you've got to speak up, guys. It's people, everyone we talk to. I've got 3 international reporters that want people to speak up, and people are going, I don't want to. I just want to follow the legal process. Well, I'm going to put a video online in an hour or 2, probably in about half an hour, and it's going to show names of individuals that you may have not seen. You can slow it down, put it on a large screen, and go through there and look at all the people that invested in Goliath Ventures. You'll also see how much money they invested. And this was Goliath Ventures' way of the partners who are the co-conspirators, so they knew how much dividends to pay each individual each month. And these co-conspirators who aren't coming forward, who are now claiming that they are victims, had access to those databases. And I received the recordings of those people. That's pretty big stuff to put on the internet, isn't it? So we've got other stuff at the moment of Jonathan Mason. Jonathan Mason. I can never get that people's last names, can I? And he's already put a complaint into YouTube, and he won a complaint and had a video removed. But we removed his last name out of it now, so he won't be able to get the next video removed. It's going off at the moment, I must admit. It's done really well. The last video got up to 850 views, and now we've put the same content back on the internet. And what is he up to? He's up to 567 views. And
so I'm trying to raise money that people actually want to partake in a regulated fund. Regulated. They can see the wallets. They can see the fucking fidelity bond. They're going to see the attestations by the CPA, by the SEC attorneys, proof of funds, proof of concept, proof of return. Everything's there. Quarterly meetings it's literally a hedge fund. If you have some rich friends that want to make some real money on a regulated platform, I'm more than happy to get you in touch with my guy, Matt, and we can start helping these people get their funds out. Now, we can
start helping people get their funds out. So this is Jonathan Mason telling people who have lost millions of dollars, the guy he's talking to, I know he's losing millions of dollars, telling him that he has another opportunity where they can invest with his mate Matt, which was actually Matt Burks, where they would get 3.5% return per month, not as good as the 5% they were receiving. Now, the guy he was talking to had literally lost his entire savings. He's a successful entrepreneur who had spent all his life putting a nest egg away for his mum, his brother. They put everything into it. And I can't always understand why people do this, but they did. And that's the honest fact. And here he is telling this guy to get his rich mates together so that they could get a percentage of what his rich mates put into the Ponzi scheme to help him get back the debt that he lost from Goliath Ventures. And in the same breath, he's telling people that he has seen wallets with up to $500 million into it. He said there's 6 wallets, and he's claiming that he's seen 2 of these wallets with over $500 million in it. So he has no worries about Christopher not having the money. So Christopher's company has just been put by the courts, put into bankruptcy. Christopher has been helping with the investigators. I know that the banks were subpoenaed for their records 4 months ago, shortly after we started investigating this. And here's people, the partners, claiming that they are victims, claiming that they know their money is tied up in Goliath. In the meantime, Christopher's sitting in an $8.5 million house with his ankle bracelet on, not knowing what to do, messaging me every now and again. Hi, Chris. Glad you're watching today. And these guys are still out there preaching a message that they are financial advisor. Now, this guy is an insurance broker. He's sitting there in his Rolls Royce on the phone telling people, and it's breathtaking. If you listen to these phone calls, they're amazing.
Fucking drained of phone calls, man. I'm turning my fucking phone off. I have no answers, no fucking clue. Here's what I know. That the SEC attorneys from Alston and Bird approved everything. And there's emails and documentations. That flow chart and the affidavit, that's SEC approved. We have a copy of the actual fidelity bond that was in place by Realm Insurance. We have the signature of the actual policy. Matt Burke even spoke with the agent and said...
Matt Burke even spoke with the agent and told people we don't want to tell people how much insurance we have on these investments because then people will go after us. That's what Matt Burke said in the secret recording that we stumbled across on the Vimeo account. People go, how did you get that recording? And I said, well, they had it sitting there on a Vimeo account. One of my Avengers managed to find it. And we've got those. We've got everything, guys. So here's these bottom feeders, these disgusting individuals. These people here are not innocent. These, if you have been signed up under, like even Tomo, his brother was invested, his mother, who runs Tomo, in 4 days' time is going to be in the courtroom trying to defend himself because the company that he owns at the moment was actually stolen from a franchise that he was looking at buying. So he found a company that he liked, went and signed up for a franchise, and then the deal didn't happen, and then he copied all their ideas and started up his own company. We've got Steve Davis, who's got a book publishing company, which he owns 60% of, forcing other people in the company to do the work. And there's stuff going there. These guys have tried setting up their own companies using dirty money from Goliath Ventures so that they can set up their future. And now they're telling you guys that they are victims. And these guys are ringing up their victims and telling them lies. You know, this is amazing. Listen to this. I have to laugh at this part here. I've got this covered quite well.
So you probably used the wrong money to buy different things, but it's still from the company's account. And that's what they're saying there. If you look at only 1 or 2 counts of it, it's not like he did this over and over again. It's 1 or 2 counts.
So they're downplaying what he's been charged with, saying it's not a Ponzi scheme when it says Ponzi scheme in it. And then he's claiming that that people have been bankrolling me. Listen to this one.
So the attorneys are like, yeah, this is fucking stupid. But everyone's scared when you get this posted all over the freaking media. Pictures, though, we have pictures and proof of the guy Mark Najim that actually is behind all this shit. He actually was photographed picking up the guy bashing Chris online, hugging, giving a little.
So where's the photos of him picking me up from the airport, guys? This is done with ChatGPT. And I've spoken to Mark. He's been brilliant. He's been very helpful. But he's not anyone. No one's bankrolled me into this, guys. And just to even make that claim without any backing is just ridiculous. Somebody said to me, what do they call it? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Well, we've got more evidence than you can poke a stick at. And we're going to show you everyone in an hour or two. We're going to show you what these guys have really been doing. I don't love my job. I love the fact that I can investigate stuff from with my team of Avengers. I love investigating and finding the truth. I don't like the lawsuits that they throw at you. I don't like the hours and hours I spend when I should be sleeping, you know, discussing strategies on how to help people. You know, as I've been talking, I've received 1, 2, 13, 19, 22, 22 messages just in my private chats. Yeah. So, you know, so some people had been advised me just as when we talking, said blast the Bank of America and hit at how the, you know, the Bank of, you know, the interesting thing is the Bank of America in Orlando, you know, we believe they've been taking bribes, you know, and people talk about that, but, you know, this is what we want to do. We want to find out who's connected to Christopher, who works in these banking organizations like Bank of America, JP Morgan, Luminous Bank. Who do you know? This is where the investigation gets exciting, is if we can find a connection with the Bank of America, JP Morgan, Luminous Bank, even Wise's Bank, if you want to go down that track. Who do you know that worked at those banks that was associated with Christopher? Because we believe, and we have reason to believe, that these banks had inside people that were taking, bribes to take this money. I mean, you try it today. Try and transfer $100,000 from one bank to another and see if your existing bank stops you from doing so. Why did the Bank of America, JP Morgan, or Luminous Bank turn a blind eye to that stuff? You've got to think for us, guys. You've got to help us. Think about who do you know was connected to Christopher who works in those banking organizations? Okay, so there's a new lawsuit that's just popped out as we talked? Where do we find that? Let's have a look. Kickbacks. New class action against JP Morgan and the Bank of America. Well, we're gonna go there, guys. So, news to hand. I think we even have a button for that, don't we? Let's have a look. Let's see. Oh, news to hand. What the heck? Let's see. Champagne. Shall we open some champagne? Should we have a bit of a laugh? Oh no, don't get me started. I do like that one, but it does go on a bit. News to hand. The United States District Court. Got it? That thing. Oh, sorry. Okay, the United States District Court, Southern District of Florida. David Joseph, whatever his name is, case number 00000. You can't see all those zeros. But right, so we'll have a little read here. So this is just a hand. New class action against JP Morgan and Bank of America. So I was talking to a pretty prominent lawyer today, and he was telling me that the JP Morgan case will 100% get squished, and he might have just been correct. He said, let's go, just going to pause a certain element. Instead of I'm going to say I've been there before. I hear. So this is a lawyer. The case that's in California will 100% be dismissed as it is pled. Okay, so then this might be why there's new ones starting up. So let's have a listen. Let's see what we've got here. Oh no, it's not going to do it, is it? Here it is. It was going to do it. There we go. Read it. Read it.
JP Morgan and Bank of America Goliath Class Action Lawsuit PDF 1, 24, 274%.
Right. Well, that's not going to read what I want to read, but there is two ways to skin a cat. So let me do that first. I'm just going to right click. And I think it's worthwhile reading this because I just want to see if I can get that there. Why can't that do what I want it to? It's a 24-page lawsuit, so we're not going to read all of it, but I wouldn't mind copy. What are we going to do here? Copy. I got an idea, kids. I'm going to do something pretty freaky. I'm going to, first of all, put that lawsuit into ChatGPT. Save it. I'm going to start up a new ChatGPT. And I'm going to Goliath Ventures. I'm going to get the JPEG. Could you please explain what this new lawsuit is all about, so I can tell people who are wondering what this means for individuals or investors who may have transferred money into Goliath Ventures using the banks. Now, I could try reading this myself. So what I'm going to do in the meantime, okay, so here we go. Now put this back where we can see it. So I'm going to flip between the JP Morgan. All right, and now I've got ChatGPT help me out. And you'll see how useful ChatGPT is. Somebody like, what this lawsuit is. This might save us doing a blog later on. This is a class action lawsuit filed in the US against JP Morgan Chase and the Bank of America, not against Goliath itself. So that's really cool. The people bringing the case are victims of Goliath Ventures Inc. They are now trying to hold the banks responsible for their losses. The core allegation is simple. The banks knew or should have known that Goliath Ventures was operating as a Ponzi scheme and allowed it to continue away while profiting from it. Now, that's really interesting. I reckon the bank should hire me and my team of Avengers. And it mentions Steve Davis in this one twice. Okay, what the lawsuit claims. The lawsuit lays out 3 key points. Goliath was a Ponzi scheme. Investors were promised 3 to 8% monthly returns and safe liquidity pool investments. Well, we know that already. In reality, very little money, 1.5 million out of 300 million plus, went into actual investments. Most funds were used to pay earlier investors, fund luxury spending. That is the textbook definition of a Ponzi scheme. The banks had full visibility, and they did, because this was when I was interviewed this morning, and I don't want to say I told you so, but the reporter said to me, you said that this one was different to most Ponzi schemes and scams that you investigate. And I said, what was the main difference? And I said, they were putting money into banks. Normally it goes into crypto. And this was the real weird thing about this. So it made it really easy for people to lose their money. But the banking system has, flagging systems for all this shit. That's anti-money laundering acts that everyone raves about. If you do a transaction for more than $10,000, it gets picked up. All this sort of stuff seemed to be ignored from these banks. So this is actually quite a good lawsuit. So if I was you guys, I would go to the now where is it? I'm going to get rid of that one. I would go to the people, this company here, and I would contact them and ask them if you can be part of this class action lawsuit. And it looks like people that were part of Stephen Davis's investment portfolio have actually dobbed him in. The banks could see large repetitive deposits from investors, money being used for property purchases, luxury goods, personal expenditures. I mean, surely, oh, look, he's Learjet. That must bring up a flag. Personal expenditures, Rolex watch, 18 times. But even though we believe there could be 50 Rolex watches or more. New investors' money being used to pay old investors. I mean, surely they could have, if, like we did this mind map thing where you could see certain people depositing and then get money out going back to the same accounts. Surely that would look like an investment, an account. These are major anti-money laundering red flags, the exact thing the banks are legally required to detect. And this is why you want to go for this, guys. You really want to go in there hammer and tong and be part of everything you can to recover your money. Be like a scavenger. Or remember when you were a kid, somebody used to drive around in a tractor and throw lollies into the air and you used to go after lolly scrambles? This is what you want to do. Every one of these lawyers that puts all the time and energy into these class action lawsuits, you want to be part of it. The banks are accused of helping the fraud. The claim is not negligence. It's stronger than that. The lawsuit urges the banks had actual knowledge of suspicious activity. Now that goes back to what I'm claiming. So my one of my big Avengers said, blast the Bank of America. They were taking bribes. Now we've got pretty good evidence that we know this is true, but we can't just throw a bank clerk under the counter. But we know that they must have had suspicious activity alerts, and they must have had somebody ignoring those. Continued providing the accounts. Now my Avengers shut down one of the Bank of America accounts because we showed them a deposit for $250,000. They investigated it and they froze one of their accounts. I even remember the day it happened because I texted Christopher to go, ha, 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 that's another account we've shut down. enabled the environment for the funds to keep the scheme alive. This is called aiding and abetting the fraud, aiding and abetting breach of, I can't even read that word,
fiduciary
duty. What this means for investors, this is the part people really can care about. This creates a new path to recover money. Goliath itself is in receivership, likely unable to repay victims in full. So the lawsuit is going after deep pocket institution, the banks instead. Now imagine this. Now imagine what we've just gone through today. I'm just going to move this over here. I've brought you a blog. Whoop, not that blog. Let's go to my blog where I'm telling you guys that you should be providing proof of claim. So you come to my website, you come down here, and there's a lady here, which is like the people I speak to every day. I've got my hand around her shoulder, comforting her, telling her to put in the proof of claim. Imagine this. Just play this out. You don't file a proof of claim. This lawsuit manages to go after the banks. The banks with their deep pockets have to pay out Goliath Ventures because they shouldn't have been providing the services. If you don't have your name down on the proof of losses, and they do get this money back from the banks because of the negligence or the turning a blind eye to transactions, then you're going to miss out. You could get all your principal back and have all that grief. Isn't that worth a gamble because of a bit of privacy? That's what is holding so many people back. I know, because I've asked so many people to speak up and they go, oh, I want to remain private and anonymous. Time to put your big boy trousers on, and in a few minutes I'm going to put that video out. You're all going to see what really happens if you try and hide. No one can hide from the Avengers. So now Susie's got a phone number going across the top of the screen here. Anyone who sent money to Goliath Ventures to JP Morgan and Bank of America, all right, includes wire transfers, investments sent to JP Morgan or the Bank of America. So if you've used the banks and decided to not use crypto, good on you. You don't need to act immediately yet. Right now, this is just the filing stage. The court still needs to approve the class action lawsuit. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to give this to a lawyer as we speak. And see your thoughts. I can't spell thoughts right, but let's have a look and see if I can get that corrected with spell checker. Thoughts. Right. And let's see what our in-house lawyer says about that one. Alrighty, so what are we going to say? So the court still needs to approve the class action lawsuit. And that's why the first class action lawsuit we had filed in California, my lawyer friend here says 100% guaranteed it will be thrown out. This one may get approved because it's filed correctly. It'll be interesting to see what he says. Move through litigation. I can't even say it. Litigation. I can't even say it. Why can't I say that? Litigation. If in process, they will likely be a claims process later. I don't know what that means. If the process, there will still likely be a claim process later. See how professional we are. Notifications to victims. This could take years, but realistically, these cases are complex. Banks will fight aggressively because they've got the money, literally. It could take years before any payout, if any. It's a long shot, but it's a good shot. And I've been investigating this for so long. We just couldn't believe the amount of money that was going into Goliath Ventures. And we believe that we know that they must have been giving backhanders to the bank. So if you know anyone that's associated to a banker that's associated with Goliath Ventures, we do know that I think Christopher's ex-wife, or still married, did used to have some association to Luminous Bank, and that was the smoking gun that we was trying to find at one stage, a connection there with her and Luminous Bank. So if you know that's true, then we want to know. This lawsuit is important because it shifts the narrative. Before Goliath collapses, money is gone. How did the banking system not enable this? If proven, it sets a precedent. Banks can be held accountable for facilitating Ponzi schemes. Victims may recover funds beyond what's left in the wreckage. So it may be another cash injection. Now think about this too, guys. Before crypto come along and made it a lot easier for these cyber criminals to operate, the banks had systems in place. This system that Christopher was using was going back using the archaic bank system, not using crypto. You know, they've tracked the money. The majority of the money's coming via the banks, which is unusual and a little bit old-fashioned, to be honest. The bottom line, Goliath was allegedly a $300 million plus Ponzi scheme. Investors sent money through major US banks, and that's the main, real big major point of difference. This lawsuit claims those banks saw the red flags, ignored them, and profited from the fraud. And now victims are trying to get their money back from the banks instead of the scam itself. That's cool. So that's really, really quite cool, actually. So if you want a copy of that, it's in the chat room now. I don't know if it merits me doing a whole blog on it, but we'll have a closer look at it. It'll be interesting to know whether where they mention Steve Davis. So I'm going to actually see if I can figure that out. Let's have a look. Steve Davis. Let's have a look. Now, Susie said Steve Davis was mentioned in here. Let's have a look and see. I'm going to find Steve Davis's name. So this is a partner. Let's see what we've got. What page are we looking at, Suze, for Steve Davis? We've got Christopher. Let's keep. We'll do it Danny's way for now. We'll probably pop up on my screen. Bank of Mortgage. It's funny, this graphic's getting well used. Actually, that graphic, I know the YouTuber that claims that was his graphic. He managed to nab off the screen. Joint Ventures. Raised. JB Morgan. Goliath. What have we got here? Just trying to scout through here looking for Steve Davis's name. He must be sweating at the moment, though. I mean, why would he have gone and got himself a German citizenship? The guy's been theoretically a fireman in Florida, I think it was Florida, for 20 years. Got fired because he didn't want to force people to take the COVID injection. Made himself a hero. Pilfered it after everybody he knew. Encouraged him to invest in Goliath Ventures. And now has decided to get himself a German citizenship and take his family over to live in Germany. What does that tell you about the guy? In the unreal. Bank of America. Law. Whoops, I've seen that we haven't got down there. Page 15. Thank you, Susie. I didn't scroll. We're on page 7. That saved everyone a lot of grief. Let's have a look. Look at this. David Joseph experience. And here, opportunity failed. Now, I'm sure this lawyer would like many people coming to him and telling us that they deposited using the Bank of America or JP Morgan. Goliath Ventures. What am I missing? Page 15. I'm trying to find him. Where's our mate Steve Davis? Oh, yeah, there it is. Didn't see it, but looking. All right, Steve Davis. Okay, so Goliath, also one of his employees, I thought they were partners. Oh my God, let's see if we can read it. Don't think it's going to happen. Goliath thought that one of his employees, Steve Davis.
JP Morgan and Bank of America.
No, it won't work. Goliath thought one of its employees, Steve Davis, told Rosswood via email in the fall of 2025 that his investment funds would be placed in a liquidity pool that ran on a decentralized cryptocurrency exchange. So this is where Steve Davis is going to be in trouble because he told people what was going to happen to his money and it didn't happen. That's why he's not a regulated financial advisor. So the monthly interest would be generated by the liquidity pools. Rosswood relied on those representations in deciding to invest. So Because of what Steve Davis said, he decided and made an informed decision. Point 49. Yep, that's cool. Now, is there another one? Point 49, page 15. So we heard that Steve Davis was mentioned 3 times in this one here. And there's the deposit and the slip. And that's somebody else that we haven't got in our database. So we've got 233 people in our database. I'm going to get all these videos that are on here. We've put them all into a big video, but all these names that you can see, these are individual names. Look at this. These are people's names and amounts that they have deposited into Goliath Ventures. And the big one that you won't be able to see is this one along the bottom here. And you can see all the names of all the different partners. Nick Petrillo, Punit, Jonathan Manson, Mike, Alex, Michael Herlanders. These are all the partners, different tabs of all the people that are underneath them. So this is the full database. Stephen Davis. So we will probably be able to find the individual that and these are the companies, and this is just, these are extended, terminated, people that we see. This will make some people laugh, but I can actually see in here the person that was terminated. I can see companies that were terminated. This is such a laugh. But look at these videos here, and names, addresses, and companies. We've got it all. We're going to have a field day on this one, so hopefully you do as well. So let's go through. We're up to page 18 now. We're going to go through and have a look at the next one where Steve Davis is in here. So this is a good example of, people's names. So we're looking at page 1864. Earl learnt from the opportunity to invest in the venture from a friend who knew Delgado, who has invested with Goliath. Goliath was one of his employees. Stephen Davis told Ali in 2023 and 2024 that his investment funds would be placed in a liquidity pool that ran on decentralized cryptocurrency exchange. Now we have got, I have got somebody who gave birth to the concept of telling people about the liquidity pools, and they're about to, they've just been on holiday for a week, but they were the people that actually put the idea in Nick Petrillo's head about telling people about liquidity pool. And we're going to do more investigation on this. So Stephen's name is mentioned again in documents. So he must be packing his bag. So here he is again on 69. I said, although through its employees, Steve Davis told Ali, I'm not sure, Ali, that there was a temporary pause in distributions. Approximately 1 month later, December 25, Ali requested to exit the investment entirely and request a return of his investment. Goliath, again, through Davis, told Ali that his request could not be processed. Goliath never returned, I don't know what that word is, investment as requested. To date, Ali has received no payments as purported returns to his investments. So, oh dear, it is tiring. It is actually exhausting, this, guys. But I'm glad that we can see that people have put their big boy trousers or their big girl britches on, and they have decided to speak up, because as we showed you at the start, we've got people like Jonathan telling people there's another investment opportunity out there. And this is the way people are going to get their money back, is by doubling down. Please do not do this. So these sort of court cases are pretty cool. I'm actually probably going to do a blog about this one because it's too good to be true. But you can reach out to these individuals. These are public names and public phone numbers. But Silver Law Group, this is where you want to reach out to these companies. Take a screenshot of these people. Phone these people. Be part of this movement. And let's see if we can actually provide people better chances of getting their money back, because these people are disgusting individuals and they need to be stopped. So think about this, guys, for a minute. Do you want to go to sleep at night thinking that these individuals are victims? As I said, I'm going to put out a video, probably about half an hour, an hour's time. It's going to be on my shorts on my YouTube channel that will show you the database of all the investors. I already handed this to the government investigators, and they told me they couldn't, they didn't want it because it would, they need people like me to go through it first and tell them to look over there, look over here, look over here. So we're going to go through these people in the database, and we're going to put everyone we can find into our person of interest list. Currently got 234 people in our persons of interest, and they are people that have either invested in Goliath Ventures or been promoting it. The list you're looking at right here are dirty, disgusting bottom feeders. These are the low lives of the planet. These guys need to spend the rest of their lives paying you back the money. Steve Davis, 3 times you've been mentioned in that letter because you have been advising people what to do with their money. What happened to being... okay, that's cool. An appointment. What happened to being a fireman? Why did this guy decide that he would become a financial advisor? Like I can't even get out of my video today. I'm stuck in here, stuck inside a live video. But look at this. I've got, I'm going to bring this back. So we've got Steve Davis, this guy, and we listen to this. Oh, you are watching. We were hoping to get somebody.
I'm not watching, but you're recording me now, aren't you?
Mate, we're doing better than that. We've got 90 people in a chat room, and we're yeah. So,
hey, when are you going to start? When are you going to start telling the truth?
Well, you tell us the truth, mate. We're all ears.
No, you tell us the truth. Why do you keep making lies on everybody? You're scaring everybody away. Why are you doing that, man?
Oh, okay. So, can you prove that their money is secure? Because everyone's wondering at the moment.
Have you proven it to anybody? You haven't proven anything.
This guy was a twat. Here I am asking him to prove to me. He's calling me a liar. So I said, prove to me that the money's secure. And then he goes, you prove to me the money's secure. It's not my money, Stephen. This is the arrogance of a fireman who's claiming he's a fire chief, who's wrote a book by his own publishing company. He's got 7 reviews, and 2 of them are 1-star reviews, and the rest are probably friends and family. And he's trying to taunt me. He's even admits that they sent people around to come after me to New Zealand, where I live.
And how did you get my number? I don't consent to you recording me.
Oh, it doesn't matter here, mate. I'm a New Zealander. Different laws.
I know it doesn't, but now you've got it on recording.
Okay, then. Well, you tell us, mate, how I've got it wrong. We're all ears.
No, I want you to tell us what you found because you're not telling us anything.
Well, how do I know? So you're telling me that there's no problems or no problems with Goliath Ventures?
Why are you not giving the evidence that you have? Why do you keep hiding behind your lies?
What lies?
Your lies.
Well, give me an example. I've asked you to prove the money's there. You don't want it.
Everything that you're doing.
Well, okay. Well, give me an example.
Tell us.
No, I'm asking you for an example. You're saying I'm telling lies. Are you telling me that?
You to tell us exactly what you have been saying for 4 or 5 months. Where is the evidence? Show everybody.
Oh, I'm more than happy to prove it to you, mate. And why haven't you reached out to me sooner and put me right? Don't overtalk me, mate.
Anything.
Yes, I have. And I'll do it right now.
And you're scared. You're scared that our lawsuit is going to come at you.
You haven't got a lawsuit, mate.
We do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we do.
You don't have any jurisdiction over me.
Yeah, that's why you were scared when we had people over there.
So within there, obviously, they're threatening me with a lawsuit that they had no jurisdiction over. And then he said, and you were scared when we had people over there. So they sent people to my door, which you're about to see in the not too distant future, that video. They wouldn't, there was a second offer they come over to, but he admitted, he's so dumb, this guy, that he admitted that they sent people over to New Zealand to talk to me, to try to get me to remove the videos. And there's another idiot in this video, which keeps commenting on my videos with usernames. I keep removing them now. I haven't got time to entertain them. But he's claiming that the offer was a complimentary offer, trying to tell me, we realize that you've gone down the wrong road and we'll give you $150,000 to go away and we won't go after you financially. So here's a reward of $150,000 if you just delete all your videos and write a letter to say that you're sorry, and then we'll just make this all go away, because that's going to be a cheaper option than us going after you knowing you've got no money. That's what this the other alternative is in this sort of stuff. And it is ridiculous, these idiots that were running these partners who are now being mentioned in these lawsuits. It's just unbelievable. So here's Steve Davis trying to be the boss man and use gaslighting techniques to shut me up. And now he's mentioned in lawsuits. And he's told people things that he's now been held accountable for. You just can't make this any better. Oh, so you're admitting to that?
We have business over there.
No,
Change the
why
tack.
was I scared? Because you have people over here.
Danny, tell us exactly where the evidence is.
So this is Steve Davis. Is that your name? And you're a fireman.
Danny, what the heck?
Oh, I've never heard that word. Even my podcast was called What to Hear at one time. So hold it, Steve. You're a fireman, right? Stephen, if this is going to be a two-way conversation, you need to listen, Stephen.
Two-way conversation. I'm going to run the conversation.
Okay, go for it, mate. You just keep going.
200 views that you get every day. That's what you're happy about? Dude, you have nothing.
There's a hashtag called hashtag called Danny Strong, mate. Maybe you should support me and be a viewer. So because I get 200 views a day, you're telling me I'm not allowed to blow a scanner up?
Dude, I got that. Thanks for posting the last video of me. It just got another 1,000 views.
Hey, you had that taken down by Business Insider. How come was that? How come your sponsored article?
You blind copied me because you're scared that they knew, but they know I know. So I've already reached out to them. It's going to get put back up.
Oh, it's got put back up and then it got taken down again. So what is it? Yo-yo time.
It's going to get put back up again. It's going to get put back up again.
Your sponsored article. How's your book going, mate? You got 7 reviews and 2 of them are bad.
Danny, here's the thing, Danny, is you continue to harass people.
I don't harass people. I save people from getting scammed, mate. And
you don't save nobody. You don't save anybody. When are you going to start?
Why did your article get taken down? Why did your article get taken down, Steve?
People the truth.
I think
when are you going to start?
What is the truth?
People.
What is the truth? You tell us the truth. Why have investors' funds been blocked for 4 months? Tell us, Steve. Steve, start manning up, put your uniform on, and tell people why their money's been frozen for 4 months. I'm just trying to ring Steve Davis as we speak, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it, but sometimes Apple does this terrible thing where it locks the sound coming in, and but you won't hear it ringing. But I just thought it'd be a good idea to ring him now and see if he still wants to talk to me, because he really wanted to talk to me that day. We even know who wrote your book, Steve. It wasn't you. So his whole book, his whole dream about writing a book was all lies, because we found out from the ghostwriting book publishing company that he didn't write his own book. And he's a lazy individual. We've heard that as well. But we're trying to ring him up now. He doesn't want to talk to us anymore. But you can't beat this type of beration, is there a word, where he was trying to control the narrative. He told me that he was going to be in charge of the conversation. Interesting enough, from a lawyer which chases down the banks, we've just got a message, and I asked him for his opinion of the lawsuit that we just got filed, and it said it's a joke, will be dismissed, not sufficient facts, likely voluntary dismissal by the plaintiffs. So it's interesting when you get it from lawyers who actually fight these. Now, this particular lawyer I'm talking to, I won't say his name, but you're more than welcome to have his details if you contact me. But this is what he does for work. He goes after the banks, the insurers, and the likes. And I believe he's quite good at what he's doing. So it's just interesting. But yeah, it's a shame, though. In the meantime, though, all the partners are put through the ringers, aren't they? All these lawsuits that are coming out have got the partners' names interlaced throughout them. So it's not likely Steve Davis, who's already got his passport ready to go to Germany and got his citizenship, would you believe, is probably going to go over there and think, oh, glad I got away from the US, which I love the US because I worked there for 20 years as a fireman. It's just ridiculous. But let's listen to a little bit more.
You read from a screen that is all
I'm talking to you.
driven. No, you read from a screen. We all know it. You can barely speak English. You barely can speak. You can barely speak.
And
Everyone's
he
tired
was
of your
claiming that he was in
nonsense.
Forbes
You can see
magazine
that your
India.
views are going down and down and down.
So this guy is just an animal. I mean, he's I don't think I'm the first person to put my hand up and say I can't read and write very well because I'm like dyslexic and I sort of maybe play on that a little bit. But it is a frustrating thing sometimes, and I hate that saying that people use that I had the gift of dyslexia, because it's certainly not a gift. But you do look at things completely different. And this particular guy was such an animal because he was having a go at me. If you go and look at his videos, which had like 2,500 views, he had like 3 comments on it. Now, my videos don't get many views, but I have more than 3 comments. If I have a video that goes out there and gets 5,000 views, normally I have 40 to 50 comments. But when we were, if we were going to have a pissing competition, he didn't have the comments after his video. So, it's a telltale sign that a lot of these people pay for their traffic. And while I'm talking to him, you might see a picture there. There's actually an article that was published on Business Insider magazine. And we wrote to that magazine. And unlike many other organizations, they actually listened to us and removed that article. And then they put it back after he complained. And then we went back and gave them more information about what Stephen Davis was doing. And then that article got removed. But that article was a sponsored article. He had paid for the press, which is just ridiculous. So I highlighted that out to him in our heated conversation.
Down.
I'm not doing it for views.
You have zero.
If I had one views, I do love what I'm about to say here. If I had one view and I took down Goliath, that is a real Danny and Goliath situation, isn't it? People, of course I would like more views, more awareness on my YouTube channel, but the honest truth of it all is a lot of the stuff that I do on my YouTube channel is documenting the what we're doing, and it brings out a lot of people who they reach out to us after my videos and give us more intel. So it's like a phishing campaign, a lot of these videos that we do. If you want to help with your class action lawsuit, or if you want a name, come forward to us. And that's what a lot of these videos are all about. I don't know if I'm waffling, but anyway, I'm going to listen to this a bit more. Even with one view, I can take down David Goliath, mate. Even with one view.
Danny,
I'm not here for views, mate.
You continue to harass people. You continue to.
Where's the money, Steve?
You've reached out to all
people here are asking you right now, where is the money of Goliath? Answer the question.
I don't know. You tell them. Tell them.
I don't know where it is. No one does. The guy that's been promoting the company, calming the farm with everyone, is asking for me to tell everyone where the money is from his own Ponzi scheme. I mean, how ridiculous was that? Now, if you're wondering, this was actually recorded a month ago. And I do have 12 comments. Some of them are probably me replying to people. This video has only received nearly just under 1,000 views. And if you go into the actual description, like I am, you can actually even see the crypto wallet addresses that we were monitoring. That basically showed, and I think I can't help myself now, but if I go into the actual Goliath Ventures part of my website and you scoot to the very bottom, you'll see all the blogs that I've written in the past. And I do have a photo which made me laugh when ChatGPT helped give that photo to me. And you'll see there it is. So this is my Steve Davis ripoff. So have a look at this. So here's Danny in his white suit sitting on what I call a cruddy Porsche, pretending I'm Steve Davis. And there's Pixel. Does look kind of like Pixel. And down here you can actually see the video where we look at the Business Insider article that he had, and there he is sitting there on his cruddy Porsche, which now he's got a, what do they call it? McLaren, I believe, a bright yellow. But this is a sponsored article. And here he is berating me, trying to keep face, which just makes me laugh my head off, really. Is that the... So, do check out the description of the videos we do, but we'll probably leave it about there, guys. I think we've done... I'll just check some of my messages, make sure I ain't missing some good stuff. Aspire Rejuvenational Clinic is Tomo's business. What I was trying to remember the name earlier on, so that's good to get that out. That was all. Our lawyer he basically reckons that that lawsuit will get dismissed by the plaintiffs. It's a placeholder while they hope and pay clients. Pray clients, give them enough of, I see what it is. So this is actually quite interesting. So what my lawyer friend says, they put out this class action lawsuit saying that they're going after the banks. And then all the investors, which are probably listening to my videos now, will go and provide evidence to help that happen. And I probably can't express that enough. So I'm not saying don't go give them the evidence. If you know that Christopher was associated with some individual at JP Morgan or the Bank of America or Luminous Bank or Wises, whatever it was, and you had any evidence, then you want to go and help with that class action lawsuit. They pray clients will give them enough information to withstand a motion of dismiss. So the bank, or maybe anyway, he said, I have 100% confidence that lawyers will back out of it. 100% is quite high, isn't it? We are still looking for the legit bank case. It's just a lot of lies at this point people are telling. Yeah. So what am I trying to say here, guys? I'm trying to say that you were given a lot of advice by a lot of partners to invest in Goliath Ventures. Good on you. You listen to them. Now, let's pretend I'm actually Christopher. Hi, guys. Do you like my $20,000 earrings? No, I'm not Christopher. But let's fight this. We can do it. We need your help. I'll be the yin and the yang. I'll be the guy that gets Christopher off the streets. You know, there's some really interesting stuff that's going to happen. I can't tell you what it is, but one day this moment will mean something to somebody who realizes, I remember Danny saying that. But, you know, let's just say the shit's going to get real and I need your help. So help me do what I do well and expose anyone that's running or promoting a Ponzi scheme or a scam. You know, we need people to come forward. And that was the real purpose of this video today. Hope you're safe, hope you're well, and hope you're smiling, and hope you're experiencing what we call grief, the 5 stages of grief. Hopefully you come to acceptance. And when you've come to acceptance, you can start helping these lawyers who are working hard at trying to get your money back. Do something, because doing nothing will change nothing. I think there's a fancy Nancy quote about that. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we won't be back tomorrow with another flashing update, but let's see.